I'm Josh Kaller,
Shlomo Reichmann.
and we're with Hashem. Today we have a special opportunity. We're here with Uri Szulsztein, as well as my illustrious partner in crime, Rabbi Shlomo, and we are here to talk about being with Hashem, also being with Hashem in Shabbos. We have a tremendous opportunity here with our guest, Rabbi Uri, who's joined us over here, been a part of some of our experiences, some of our programming, and really he had a deep dive and a taste of Shabbos, which he's been experiencing. I call it the spiritual jacuzzi,
Spiritual jacuzzi.
the spiritual jacuzzi. Shabbos is
love
certainly
that.
one of those. And I wanted to know, how has Shabbos enhanced your life so far?
So far, I feel like it's just a taste, right? It's only been a little amount that I've done. I've done 5 weeks now of Shabbos, and it's very enlightening. It's relaxing. It gives you a chance to really slow down, take a break from all the chaos, and this is what everyone tells you, but it's true, right? And once you experience it firsthand, you actually see what it means to keep Shabbos. You always hear, take a break from the world, relax. It's one day, take a breather. But once you really experience it for yourself, it actually clicks and it makes sense.
Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you right now in life? What's your context so everyone knows a little bit more
Okay.
Who are you?
Yeah. I am a university student. I just finished my first year at Laurier. I'm studying business and financial math. I did NCSY for 4 years in high school. I did Learn and Earn, Shabbatons. I was a JSU president. I was the student executive board president in my last year of high school. I grew up, I would say, reform conservative. And then, I found NCSY and I kind of, it felt more right to me to kind of keep Shabbat and, people call it rules, but it's guidelines. Guidelines is for life. That's how I see them. And that's what resonates with me in terms of Judaism. It's guidelines, they're not rules. It's what can you do to live the best possible life? And the Torah kind of gives you a guidebook.
Mm-hmm. Was there anyone close to you in your life who helped inspire you to even look into the book? Meaning, I get directions and instruction manuals all the time. I never look into them. Or when we do, I see value. Was there anyone who was guiding you, saying look, take a look at this?
I gotta say, Yosef Zeldman at NCSY.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely, shout out. He definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. That was 3 years ago when I went on TJJ. And he's actually staffing my sister's trip. They leave in about an hour, I think.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So he definitely was a very big, stepping stone for me. He gave me that initial push that I needed to, get out of my comfort zone and experience it and, really learn. Because I'd never learned in, I'd never learned Torah. I went to Sunday school. But, you learn about the holidays. You learn how to read Hebrew. But it doesn't give you the full depth, and I feel like he definitely had that depth, and he had the knowledge to really help me get out of my comfort zone, really.
And now, so 3 years ago, he planted the seeds, pushed you a little bit, inspired you a little bit.
Yeah.
And now here you are today, keeping your fifth Shabbos, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are some of your essential ingredients for keeping that Shabbos? Do you feel like there's a lot of it about, if I know for dieting, I know for myself, when I'm in a diet mode, it's all about setup. You got to have the right things in the fridge, available, easily accessible, because if not, you're going to go to what's quick and easy in front of your face. Do you feel like it's a big important part of your Shabbos experiences?
Yeah, for sure. I got to put the computer away. I got to put my phone on the other side of my desk because it's a habit. You wake up and you reach for your phone, you try and turn off the alarm. I have the Shabbat alarm app to wake me up for Saturday morning. But, I put it on the other side of my room. So I'm okay.
It's there.
It's there. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to use it. And it's definitely important to separate what we do during the week and what we do on Shabbos. That's one of the really big things for me is my phone. I would say I'm pretty addicted to my phone, doom scrolling. But it's good to take that step back and just, put it on the other side of the room. And I think that's a first step that I would recommend to everyone, to anyone who wants to try keeping Shabbos, who doesn't normally, just put your phone on the other side of your room. Don't touch it for Friday night. Read a book to go to bed. That's what I do. And then, you wake up Saturday morning. You can set an alarm. You don't have to touch your phone. Don't use the clock app, though, because that alarm will not turn off.
Oh, yeah.
It'll ring, and I made that mistake. It'll ring, and it'll ring.
15 minutes.
Yeah. It's not good. But yeah, just separating, right? Like, as you said, making sure what's in the fridge is actually good for you and not like junk food, no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In terms of just like now that you've created that space, like what did you gain from Shabbos so far?
Connection. I would say connection with myself, like getting to know myself better, like what I want in my life, what I want in the future, my connection with God, and the community. I've really gotten to know a lot of amazing, amazing people over the past month and a bit, and it's amazing.
So like, let's talk about God for a second.
Yeah.
Like, how is your relation? Because we're with Hashem. That's what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is like, how has like Shabbos like opened up your relationship with Hashem? And it's okay. It's still pretty early. So like, it's it could be an easy answer.
Yeah. I think, a big part of it for me is just, if I'm at home on Saturday and I have nothing to do, right? What do I do? Right? You can read, you can talk to your family, talk to my brother. But a big part of it is like, I'll talk to God and I'll ask him, like, what is my path, right? Because I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest question that question and request that I keep like asking from Hashem is, what is my path? And am I on the right one? And if I am, help me stay on it. That's the biggest, that's the biggest thing for me. Like just honestly talking to God and being honest with myself, right? Because God is in all of us. So I learned that having a deep connection with yourself is the same thing as having a deep connection with God. So
I love that.
Yeah, and it resonates. That really resonates with me because I think knowing yourself and loving yourself is the first step in life. You always hear like you need to love yourself to love your spouse. Like before getting into a relationship, you need to know yourself. And I think there's a lot of meaning in that. And Judaism encompasses that perfectly by saying, yeah, God is in you. There's a piece of God in you. And you need to know yourself and you need to love yourself because by doing that, you're going to love God.
I don't know if you know this, but this is like that ve'ahavta l'orecha kemocha, right? You have to love your neighbor like yourself.
Yeah.
So who's the l'orecha? Some people say that is God. Right? That's one interpretation. Re'echa can also mean your spouse, but kemocha is like you love, like you. Well, that means like you're the ground floor of the entire operation. The more that you love yourself, then that is the projection of the baseline of what you can give to other people.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're saying is just like so fundamental, and I feel like so true. Shlomo, feel free to chime in if you have any things for yourself to.
Well, this is fun to be a spectator. The only thing that I would say, it's not intuitive for a lot of people that the disconnecting is the context for the connecting, and I just think it's great the way that you're able to articulate it in the way that you are, and the reason. If I could just put some, I guess, theology or psychology to it very simply, it's that most of us think that connecting is, why is scrolling on an app? Why is all of that different than talking to my friends when I'm talking to them in real life? Like, what is the difference? And I think that the difference is, am I distracting? Am I looking outside? Or am I operating internally or not? So sometimes you can be on the phone with somebody and you could be connecting. And sometimes you could be on FaceTime or Zoom and connecting. But for some reason, the more of that you have, the more abstracted it becomes and the more of a distraction it is. It's like another meeting, another thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so connecting...
Too many meetings.
Right? No, but sort of the idea of really connecting is when I'm operating from a place of presence. Right. And so my point is that there is something that the world seems to be forgetting and trying to remember. which is the more you remove the layers of abstraction, the more present you can be.
Mhm.
But the more permissiveness that you have in the world, the harder it is to be able to be present.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're
And
saying there's
so
too many things to
There's
do.
something about permissiveness that sounds like freedom that is actually the path to servitude. And I just wanted to plant that with you for a moment and wonder if you have any comments.
Yeah, I mean, lots of big words. But yeah, no, for sure. Like,
Golly.
no. Like Rabbi, as you just said, you have to, take off the fluff, because a lot of what we do in our day to day is fluff, right? We keep ourselves busy. We're very, like you're saying, lots of meetings, right? And it kind of makes you feel like, not hesitant, but it kind of like pulls you away from like the real, like, what's the real goal?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, another meeting. But like, why am I having these meetings? Right? So really disconnecting gives you a chance to reflect, right? It gives you a chance to think and like be true to yourself and not have to worry about like the superficial things. And I think that's I think that's what I got from what you were saying.
Mhm.
To just take off the superficial.
Yeah, and I think like also we're always like moving forward. I don't know if you feel this, but like I've been feeling it since I've been 18 years old, just like constantly in a forward posture, like life is zooming. And I felt like that as I've been growing up, since for the past 22 years, that it's just getting faster and faster. So like either you're experiencing the same sense of zoom that I felt already when I was your age, right? Or it's even only getting faster. So my question is like, do you feel like a lot of your friends feel that and are nervous about it, or they don't even know it's happening to them? Like they live their life on the roller coaster so fast, so much, they don't even know what stopping means.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people take for granted, like, being in your youth, I'm 18. I'm young. People say, do whatever you want, like go find what you want to do, explore the world. But there's real meaning to that because you get to slow down and stop. Like I have barely any responsibilities, right? It's summer. I'm out of school. Like, yeah, I have a job, but I don't have a family I have to provide for. I don't have a spouse that I live with. So really, like a lot of people, yeah, they live life and they don't stop and smell the roses, right? And they just fly through it. And yeah, like my friends, I think they definitely, we'll say every once in a while, like we went on a trip last year to Punta Cana for our graduation, and we were sending, we got, memories 1 year ago today. And it's like, wow, that was so long ago. Or some people will say that felt like it was yesterday. And I think it depends on where you stand. So if you think, oh, that was yesterday, that means time is flying by for you. But I think if you really stop, take a second, and like Shabbat, like you stop, you take a second, and this is once a week, 52 times a year. You really just slow down and you get to reflect on yourself and on your past experiences. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And a lot of people just not necessarily, it doesn't have to be keeping Shabbat, but just stopping and smelling the roses. Like a lot of people forget to sometimes. And that's why it's such like a famous thing.
Have you smelled roses recently?
Literally, no. Like actually, like physically smelt roses, no. Don't think I have.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I'm really curious on your perspective. So we're talking about like actually keeping Shabbat. So part of what is the whole with Hashem concept? The whole. There's a lot.
We're still building it.
There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of what people think about what it means to be Jewish and what does God want from us, and He needs us to do all of these things, and that's really not what it's about. There are a lot of opportunities to connect and a lot of rules around what it means
I like
to
the word
be able to.
guidelines is a nice word. I like that word.
But even that's a whole topic in of itself. Putting that aside, there is something about infusing that with some spirituality. So you can do all the things. Person can be in a relationship and doing all the things, and there's just no spark. right? And the idea of with Hashem is about recognizing the spark and introducing that and connecting with it and bringing that to everything that it's already there. So my question to you is more, there is some click that happens when someone who didn't keep Shabbos starts keeping Shabbos. And I'm curious what that feels like, right? Because like you said before, like it's not just about the guidelines. And is there something clicking? And what is that drug, if you will?
Kosher, legal drug.
It's kind of hard to, like, it's not a feeling you can like encompass with words, because it's God, right? It's you're experiencing, I wouldn't say you're experiencing God, but you're experiencing a connection with God. And that's kind of what it felt like to me. I recently went to Israel 3 weeks ago. I think I got back 3 weeks ago. I was there for, we were on an Olami trip, a leadership volunteer trip. And I extended for about a week and a half. Best decision I could have made. It was it's hard to put in words, but you're at the kotel every morning, you're davening, you're there, you see like the holy sites where thousands of years ago, like we used to pray. And that, along with Rabbi Shmuel Young, shout out, big shout out. He was a very big part of it. Definitely made the trip. Like he pushed us to be better and better. And he's like, anytime we have a question, he's like, no hesitation, no matter how like obscure, like how random the question is, any time of the day, like he'll answer. And Friday night, we were up till 5 a.m, grilling the rabbi. We're asking him questions and like questions. And he did it gladly. And, he was exhausted, like, kind of felt bad. But
after an all-night tish with the Chassidim.
Yeah. And like, he's there and he's willing to do it. And that kind of like, it's kind of like inspiration. You see other people like looking out for other people, and you see like these beautiful connections that other people have. And I wouldn't say it's jealousy, it's admiration. That's how I think of it. You admire, and you want that for yourself, but in a healthy way. You would say like, like I admire this person. This is a very great person. And I think that was a big spark for me. As well as like keeping Shabbat in Jerusalem is a completely like mind-blowing experience. It was wild. But like all the learning and all the like the connection you're making, like we're there with like 12 guys, and it's just like we're all getting so into it. And it's I think you have to really put your heart into it, and you have to want it. You have to like, give into it, because if you like hold back, if you're hesitant, then you're not going to get enough. You're not going to get as much out of it. And that's what really holds people back, especially I think in NCSY. Like what I experienced in high school is you have people sort of, dipping their toes, but they're not putting their foot in. And I think that's where they're missing the full spark. You're hitting the flint and steel, but you're not hitting the flint and steel onto.
It's like going swimming. You're going to the pool and you're literally just putting your toe into the water.
Yeah.
That's not called swimming.
Yeah.
You got to jump in. So really what is described to me is that like, it sounds like it goes from like the books to the blood.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is that like Judaism can kind of feel or seem very theoretical, especially like if you're living on the outside. I think this is what Judaism is. I think this is what Shabbos is. But until you're actually in it and it's in your blood and in your day to day, it basically sounds like that's when the transformation happens. It's like the difference between like talking about driving a car versus actually driving the car.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about being in a swimming pool. I can describe to you all you want about being in a swimming pool. It's cold. It could be warm. It could be wet. It's
always wet, by the way.
It's oh yeah, you did.
Is water wet? No, that's the question.
Yes. So your body feels it. Are you going to be? How do you swim in it? How do you fall? Do you sink? Do you drown? How all these things? But at the end of the day, once you're in it, all those questions kind of get answered, and you realize there's just so much more to the experience, right? So my question to you is, what's your recommendation for people who are just like towing their.
Could I just
You want to add to
that question?
Sharpen it. Make it better.
No. Which is, how do you feel about Shabbos? Do you think that it's for everyone? And if you were pitching it to them, how would you pitch it?
Ooh, a 30-second elevator pitch to Shabbos.
Okay. So what I'm getting is two different questions. So I'll answer the rabbis first, and then I'll answer yours. Okay. Can I clarify your question?
Yeah, please.
What is my recommendation in terms of like
People who are people who are hesitant to.
But for Shabbat?
Yeah, for Shabbat.
Okay.
You know, with Hashem in general, but let's just say Shabbat is like a clear entry point for that.
So I think there's no risk in trying it out. Same as most things, you know, like put your foot in, see what it's like. Like no one's telling you to do a full dive if you know you're scared of deep water, you don't want to do a full dive. But, you know, like, try it because that's what I did and I loved it and it was amazing. And that's why I keep doing it. So, you know, if they don't necessarily want to keep the full Shabbat, don't use your phone for Friday night. Go to a dinner, you know, go to shul, and then go home, read a book, go to bed. If you want to use your phone on Saturday, okay. That's my recommendation for someone who's, you know, hasn't kept Shabbat and like has never, you know, really like dip their toes in, dip their foot in.
That's a safe move.
It's safe. There's no harm in it. There's no risk in it. Because what do you lose? You know, let's say you didn't like it. You lose a Friday night. Is that the end of the world? I guarantee people have lost their Friday nights scrolling for hours and hours doing something much worse. Like there's no harm in it. So just try it. That's my recommendation. Just try it.
Just try it.
It's very simple. And that's what people get lost because it's like, oh, all the rules. No one's telling you to follow all the rules off day one.
Yeah.
And that was big for me because they're saying, okay, listen, you're starting off, don't do a full dive. You know what? Don't. That's what the rabbis will tell you. Don't do a full dive because it scares you off, right? So you have to slowly, you know, some people prefer to get in through the ramp, you know. You walk in. You don't have to do a full dive.
Reminds me how I started Shabbos. It was just unscrewing the light bulb in my fridge, right? That was like, okay, I'm starting to keep Shabbos. That was like, okay.
To you. Yeah.
But that's all it was. It was a very simple, easy entry point because it was like, now I open the fridge. How many times do you open a fridge in a day? 10, 12, 14, right? So like all those 14 times, I'm just like, every single time I reminded myself, I'm keeping a little bit more Shabbos. And then it, you know, bleeded into blossomed into a much more, you know, robust experience, as you can tell right now.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, okay, so just try. Recommendation is just try small MVP, minimal viable products. Okay, to Rabbi Shlomo's question.
Could you repeat the question?
You're giving a pitch, meaning if you think it's a really great pitch, if you think it's a great product, like, what's the pitch?
Okay, you have 30 seconds. Pitch someone, sell someone on Shabbos.
Oof.
Sell me this
Shabbos. Let's see what you got. This is future sales and trading. Let's see.
Oof. This is a tough one. Sell Shabbos.
I kind of want to get out of the shop for this. We're gonna promote this. Yeah.
Okay. To someone who's never kept Shabbos?
Okay, you could just look at that camera and be like,
don't worry.
Okay. Oof.
Let's first hear what he has to say.
Okay. Can I form my thoughts a little, and then I'll do a straight pitch.
Straight in, sure.
Okay, I think for someone who hasn't kept Shabbos, it's like there's hesitation. There's always hesitation. There's like fear. There's like FOMO. It's like, oh, I'm not on my phone. Oh, I didn't get to do my Snapchat streaks. I didn't like call my friend. I didn't like that. That's the biggest thing. Hesitation and like FOMO. And I think from my perspective, it's FOMO because that's what I experienced. It's like, oh, my friends are hanging out Friday night, but it's like, you know, a 20-minute drive away and it's, you know, but I want to do this. I want to go to shul. I want to have a Friday night dinner. Oh, but my friends are hanging out. So it's kind of like, it's a pull.
Yeah.
So if I had to pitch it, I would honestly say one time won't hurt. And that's the biggest thing. I'm kind of like a broken record, but keeping Shabbat one time won't, you know, you miss out once. Is it the end of the world? No, because you're.
But what about what they're going to get out of it?
What they're going to get out of it. Okay.
We got to sell up the good day.
Yeah, we got to sell.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not just, so there's.
Find this Mercedes because it's not, you got to think about the perks.
What do you get?
I would say, like, the way I think of it is like, we all know what a car is and we know how to get in a car and we know what a plane is. But imagine like you never touched water in your life. Right? And I'm selling you water.
Oh,
and you're like, this is really good to drink. And the person's like, I don't even know what that means. Right? That's kind of that's how I feel like touching spirituality. Like I feel like Shabbos is the closest thing to touching the spiritual. Right? And I mean, that would be my pitch. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm like, what is the thing that is so incredible that you can't afford not to experience
Make
it?
them feel the FOMO in Shabbos.
Make them feel
Right.
Make them feel the FOMO.
Oh, I
in
love that.
Shabbos.
We got to do something about that.
Shabbos FOMO.
Yeah.
Don't miss out on Shabbos.
Yeah. That's a tough one. It's hard to put into words. Sorry. It's hard to put into words. Again, for me, it's connection. It's like, what are you missing out on, right? If you don't keep Shabbos, it's connection. It's a break from life. You get to, not from life, because you're still, you're living, and it's a holier, like, it's a holier day, and you really get to, like, again, this is all based on my experiences, because I'm not fully fledged on the halacha of Shabbos yet.
We're working on it.
But we're working on it.
We're all work in progress.
But again, it's being able to really think about you and your life, and to focus on the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're swimming through the week, you're going super fast, and then you're driving and you're going 100 kilometers an hour, and you get to slow down. It gets scary, People get overwhelmed, and people get, like, anxious and depressed. And it's because I think a lot of the time we're missing the big picture. And so if I had to pitch it to someone, I would say, you're missing out on a chance to see the big picture of your life.
Whoa.
That's my pitch. Okay.
Mic drop.
Harry's going to do it.
Don't drop. No.
Okay. So let's collect this. So we have, you're missing out on the big picture of your life, and FOMO.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Which is your big picture. I mean, you should be, meaning missing out on the big picture is the thing you should have FOMO about, because, in the coaching world, we talk about, like, fast thinking versus slow thinking, right? How much of your time is spent in fast thinking mode? Over
Most.
90, I would say probably 95, if not 98%. You're not even thinking about thinking. Yeah. You're just thinking, but if you're not even thinking about thinking, you're already in fast mode, right? So we're saying, like, slow down. And I think, like, that's why it's so brilliant. You had to be the creator of the universe in some ways to understand the program so well, to appreciate what do the programmees, right, the players need in the system to make them be healthy, viable people. And he's like, God's like, time out, Shabbos. Because people always ask the question, like, did God need to chill out? That God needs to rest? And my answer always back is that, like, God needed to rest as the CEO of the Universe Incorporated so that you had permission to rest.
So I have a slightly different but similar kind of perspective, which is it's not that God is resting so that we can rest. It's like, what is the objective of the universe? So did God rest because he needed to relax and the work is the objective? Or is the work in order to be able to get to the rest, and the rest is the objective? What is the point? So, it's interesting. This week's parsha talks about the Benos Tzlafchad. Rashi says that their father may have been the Makoshesh Eitzim, the person collecting. So I heard a really good shot about the Makoshesh Eitzim, which I may or may not have repeated.
The wood gatherer.
So someone who's gathering wood on Shabbos, and then he was killed because he was not keeping Shabbos properly, and he's trying to, like, understand what the story. What was the story that he was actually? What was the story? And what's brought down is this incredible shot that you work 6 days a week, and if you're working in the proper way, then your working is also with Hashem, meaning there's an objective to our work. It's not just to make money or to have a good time. There's a purpose to it, right? But the purpose is in order to reach the objective, right? He said, why 6 days? I want to work all the time to get to the objective. I don't want to take a break. I want to continue working. His mistake was he didn't understand that the objective is Shabbos. The objective is that all of it is in order to be able to get to the soul. And so what if a person lives their entire life scrambling, running, chasing after the thing, and that thing was actually not worth anything at the end?
Which is interesting, because basically the premise is that in order to rest, you need to work, right? So therefore the construct is work in order so that you can appreciate the rest. But the rest is what creates the vehicle for that connection point in a deeper
But that's
way.
not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's rest. I'm saying Shabbos is not rest.
It's
Shabbos
space.
is the intention. It's the objective. The objective is the connection. And And if you're always chasing, like if imagine you're in a relationship, right? And you're married and you work in order to be able to provide for your family. But you work so hard that you end up never coming home and you end up never having a family and you ended up working for what? That's all of us. That's all of us. And without Shabbos, we don't have the family and we don't have the life that we provided for. And all of it was the chasing for the thing in order to get to what? So if I was pitching Shabbos, I would be like, that's the thing. What if we live our life realizing that we were all running towards nothing because we didn't end up doing the thing?
Okay, I'm giving you a challenge now. We gave everyone. No, keep the mic.
Oh, okay, great.
What's your 30-second pitch to sell on Shabbos? I want to hear your 30-second Shabbos pitch. You put Uri on.
I mean, that's pretty much my pitch is
30 seconds.
my pitch would be like this.
Let him cook.
I'm letting you cook. He's in the chillin' now.
A little lower.
A little lower.
He's in the chillin' now.
He's
He's
your face.
in the chillin'. He's stilly.
Yeah. What does it mean to have FOMO? Fear of missing out. And fear of missing out means I'm with my friends and I want to spend the time with them. And I'm afraid that I'm going to miss out on something that I would have otherwise wanted to do. What if I actually missed out on life itself? What if I actually was so distracted by all the things around me that I actually missed the entire point of life? And I get to the end, open the door, and there's nothing there. How terrifying would that feeling be? The idea of Shabbos is to connect with the point. It is the point. It's the point not only in the next world, it's the point in this world. It's the connection that we actually get to experience right now and here. It's in time and it's above time. And so the fear of missing out could be with my friends, but I would suggest that the fear of missing out is missing out on life. And Shabbos is the opportunity to actually tap into that.
Mm,
And so I don't want anyone to miss out on that.
nice. Okay, that's your sales pitch. Okay, I
That
think
was a good pitch. That was a good pitch.
That was a good pitch. Okay, I'm gonna
That's a
try
good pitch.
pitch because I
Let's
feel
hear
like we're all pitching over here. I got a pitch too. Okay,
I feel like I could do better. I need to
it's
Uh,
not
it's-
competition. It's not
yeah,
competition.
no,
This
it's
is
like-
just a way to phrase what's in our soul a little
Yeah.
bit. Do you want the most incredible spiritual jacuzzi?
So that's so Josh.
Do you want to be oozing with just like, how do I connect? You're like- Cut.
I don't know if this pitch is going the right way.
Spiritual jacuzzi, the bubbles is too
Yeah.
much.
They gotta dip their toes first, Rabbi.
Yeah, you got to dip the toes.
The water's a little hot.
You know
It's
what?
a little hot.
You know what's interesting? No one actually like hesitates about a jacuzzi, right? Everyone, not really. You kind of just like go into the jacuzzi. You're like, I know it's gonna
You'd be
hot.
surprised.
Really?
I know a lot of people. It's like too hot, too hot.
Yeah.
So they like slowly takes them like 10 minutes to get in.
Oh yeah, I'm not that type of guy. Like
No, I jump in. I love the heat.
but like whatever, I run on hot, so like I'm not so like bothered by hot temperatures. Shabbos really is the sweetest point of the week, where you have those beautiful lights that are lit, illuminating. You have the opportunity to see a beautifully set table, and there's that sense of like unspoken, like deep tranquility. Those are the things that I experience when I walk into my house. Of course, if you're praying with me and davening with me at a Rabbi Gisselson shul, first we're sweating it up and jumping and singing at the top of our lungs. But that's also a part of the Shabbos, which is just like the roar of a human personality that's kept caged for so many days of the week. Until finally you have no other choice, but I just want to sing loudly, vociferously, and proudly to God and connect. Like to me, like I look forward to that so much. I look forward to that place where I can just yell at the top, sing, not yell. I'm a Levi. Sing at the top of my lungs in a healthy way, connect with God, and then move into that space of tranquility and like calm. And then, of course, there's always like feeding maybe like 5 to 12 people, depending on who's in my house, including my kids and and then the people from my old me. But it's that space of like high expression, deep, wide tranquility. That you can't find that even on a Sunday. Even when you have that Sunday and the kids want to go biking and they want to go someplace, you don't have tranquility the same way because you have to say, I can't drive, I can't bike, I can't do. But that creates this that zone of just like, I'll call it the spiritual jacuzzi.
I think what you're referring to is like those it's like those chambers filled with water. You know what I'm talking about? It's
Dams,
the
like
pods. It's the pods that you go into, the relaxation chambers. That they like, it removes all your senses and you're floating in salt water. The lights, there's like no lights, no sound.
There's a word.
Yeah, there's a word for it.
Hydroponic. It sounds like that. Cryogenic.
Cryogenic, hydroponic,
Yeah.
human pods.
Yeah. There's a word.
It's like a not desensitized.
Yeah.
It's like it's like it removes like your senses. That's kind of what I think that's what you're kind of referring to.
But what I'm saying, but the difference is you're gaining your sense back.
Exactly.
That's the irony. You're taking away senses so that you can regain your sense of really what's the purpose of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what they say. Like a lot of these like psychedelics and things like this, like people think that it infuses a lot of feeling, but I think if I understood what a bunch of it does, it actually removes a lot of the abstractions and distractions. And so you're like hyper focused on certain things that otherwise you wouldn't be. It's not like it's like throwing tons of things your way necessarily as removing a bunch of things from you.
It's basically,
And so, right. So like the attunement that you otherwise wouldn't have, it's always there, but you're not attuned because like there's too many things around you. And so this is sort of like, you're right. What's the word? It's like it's whatever. It's a sensory deprivation.
sensory deprivation.
Thank you.
It took 3 people for 3 minutes.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, you know, 'cause you
someone
never know.
watching, hopefully someone watching this is yelling on the other side. They're like, sensory deprivation. You guys are so dumb.
Maybe one of our sponsors will come and be like,
sensory deprivation.
spa-toronto.com.
Yeah. But it's exactly the opposite in a way of what you're describing. Because you're talking about it as being a spiritual jacuzzi, which is all sensory. And I think that it's kind of like, it's exactly both of them, which is by
both and none.
you're depriving your very material senses for a more spiritual sense.
Yes.
And maybe that's even like a good way to be able to pitch it and describe it. So, because it's hard to understand. It's like, I'm having nothing in order to have something. I've never had that before, right? But it's like, no, you're depriving the material in order, and it's not material. You're depriving the physical.
And even not really, because there's so much physical.
There's food and stuff, right?
But that's not anti-physical.
That's a really big piece of Shabbos too that I think makes Judaism so unique, and part of why I think it's so specific to Judaism. And really, if you look at all mitzvahs, they're kind of like this. There's always a physical component to it. There are very few mitzvahs that are like purely spiritual. And part of it is because it's exactly this. Like, how do I infuse the spiritual into the material? It's not about sensory deprivation in the absolute sense in order to connect. It's attune myself to the spiritual in order to be able to make the physical world more spiritual. And that's why, like, for example, marriage, having children, like these are obviously very physical experiences, but we're infusing them, right, with spirituality. So it's coming from there and then it's flowing down rather than being completely consumed by the physical and material and not being able to attune deeper. So that's another pitch. I mean, if you don't know, like most of us just don't know what it means to be attuned spiritually, right?
I don't think that's.
Wait, pass that.
I also don't think that's something you can quantify. Like it's a feeling. Like you can't quantify happiness as much as people think they can. Like oh, money, this, oh, new cars, new house. I think that's what you're saying. Like it's all physical, and so you pull back from it, and you really you feel, because feeling is the goal. Feeling and spiritual. Like there's 4 levels of connection. There's physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, right? And there's a reason why emotional and spiritual are last, because they're the holiest ones. They're the most impactful ones, I would say. Physical connection only lasts so long. That's why
And the deep and the depth is only so. It's limited.
It's very limited depth. Right? Intellectual, it's a bit deeper, right? You can connect with someone intellectually, right? Like your spouse. But at the end of the day, is the intellectual connection with your spouse the most important thing? No. It's your emotional connection. Can you be there for each other? Can you be each other's home? Can you be each other's safety? Like emotional, like barricade in a way to like guard them, right?
Nice.
And then
Nice, right?
the spiritual connection, that's reserved for you and that's reserved for God. That's for you and God, which is in turn yourself
And your spouse.
and your spouse.
You'll appreciate that as you grow older.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not too familiar with that yet, but
Yeah, but it's interesting because what you woke inside me is this concept of kedusha, which we translate to be holiness, but it's a term of art, and Judaism has a lot of term of arts, but we'll translate it anyway as holiness. But kedusha itself has two definitions. It usually means separation, but it also can mean connection, right? And I just feel like what we were describing about the sensory deprivation chambers, it's separation. Like, and that's why like Shabbos has all these guidelines of like, don't do these things. You got to separate. But why? For the sake of connection, right? Because I got to now connect to God. But now that I've created a space, I've now focused myself. Now I have now I have some bandwidth. Now I have some place to now focus. So it's all hand in hand. This connection, separating in order for connection.
Yeah, and even when you said like emotional barricade,
Yeah.
I was thinking very similar lines as you, which is if I want you to protect me, then you want me to protect you. What does protecting mean? Protecting means that others can't get in, someone else can't get in. So it sounds like, meaning I'm just helping define the limiting factor that creates the space for that connection, right? They go hand in hand. We can't be there for each other, absolutely, right? If everything else is not at the expense of that thing, because that's what creates this tightest bond, right? So it doesn't mean that there isn't room for us to be able to have and do and whatever it is, but our relationship is never at the expense of those things,
Correct.
right? And that's also a really nice, expression also of what Shabbos is, meaning us being able to, if we want God to be there for us, then we need to be able to be there for God. And it's not because it's like a quid pro quo. It's that in order for there to be a real bond, the bond needs to be realized by both sides. You can't have a marriage where one spouse is fully committed to the other spouse and the other one is like completely not. None of them are going to have a relationship. Not the one who's not committed and not the one who is committed. It doesn't work.
yeah.
This has been enlightening. So we've had, I think, an amazing exploration in terms of Shabbos, your journey into Shabbos, your entry into Shabbos, and also like the safety of Shabbos, and also the invitation I think that you were giving for people to Shabbat.
Yeah.
So really, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us over here. Shlomo, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to continue on exploring being with Hashem, and we're going to check in maybe a few months down the road, and we'll see what your Shabbos journey looks like then.
Okay.
All right, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.